Hello. And action. My name is Alexis Garcia, and I am an Afro Puerto Rican filmmaker. I think it took me a really long time to figure out that I have a responsibility to tell stories that reflect people that look like me and people that sound like me and that have the cultural touch points that I have. Every summer during my childhood, I would go to Puerto Rico. My grandparents lived. Me and my brothers and my cousins all spending our summers in Puerto Rico. For my whole life, I was like, I want to make a movie here. It had informed so much of my my vision as a filmmaker. Is like where I first understood and engaged with nature in a way that was truly, meaningful and authentic. That was actually one of the things I was most interested in exploring with my film Daughter of the Sea. Was this idea that storytelling is and can be a modality for healing. When you're healing yourself, you're not only healing this generation, you're creating this wave, an electromagnetic wave that moves across generations. Figure out ways to, I think there's something very spiritual for me about filmmaking, and I think a lot of that spirituality is my inheritance from my ancestors, I say. This film came to me in one night, the story of it. I lit a candle on my altar for Yemaya.
Go to the altar and bring me 7 pennies.
It was her feast day. The film is about Yemaya. And that night, I sat down at my table and just the whole story flowed through me. And it was a personal story, It's about the loss, the character's loss of her grandfather and how she moves through that grief. And I had lost my grandfather, and I have a picture of my grandfather on my altar. And there are a lot of miracles on the path to creating it. And I know that this story was meant to be in the world as a result, because of the medicine that it would bring. It was really interesting. After I wrote that, there was an opportunity to apply for a grant a month later, and I applied. And then I found out I was a finalist within 2 weeks. And I was like, all right, here we go. We're going to make this movie. It definitely took a certain amount of delusion to be like, I'm going to go and make a movie in Puerto Rico. But also, I think I knew I could do it. We filmed on my grandparents' farm, the result of many miracles. Yeah, it was definitely, highly recommend. Have a crazy idea and pursue it. I was like, this story is being communicated to me from a higher power, and I know that it's needed. It's needed, necessary medicine for the world. We do have access to the spiritual inheritance. We just need to tap in. And I think that being able to offer that to audiences, that connection, and maybe for them to get inspired to seek out their own ancestral connections is something that is really exciting and compelling for me as a storyteller.
Es nuestra herencia, Janice. Tú tienes esa bendición. Yemaya, la diosa del mar, puede recibir y absorber todas tus emociones y a cambio darte felicidad y esperanza.
Yes. This is my personal object. This was my first camera. I got it in high school. It's a film camera. It's got a little bit of electronics, but this is how I learned to frame shots and to look at the world and to find moments that I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm gonna take a picture. Sorry for the flash.
If you open your eyes, your ears, and listen,